You're listening to the High Upside Show, a podcast that allows people like you and me to invest our money in a more entertaining way. My name is Keenan Rivals. I'm a photographer by the day, but I make most of my money by flipping cards. In this show, I'll be sitting down with you and sharing my best practices. You'll learn my process, the lessons I've learned, and more importantly, who you should be buying. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the High Upside Show. It's your host, Keenan Rivals. Coming in with today's episode with kind of a smile. I'm kind of in a good mood right now, and that's because the market seems to be trending a little upwards. I know we're not back to all-time highs or, anything of that nature. It's not too much to celebrate about, but I'm okay with a little bit of gains. For a while, the portfolio was kind of negative, and to see some green today definitely made me really, really happy. I was talking to the guys in the Discord, and we were trying to figure out why the market kind of went down. And I think what I concluded was that a lot of people just kind of had the same investment strategy. Most of us were buying cards for the playoffs, and our goal was to sell them during the playoffs. And while that's a good sound strategy, it's probably not the best if everybody has the same one. So while I was a little weary when my portfolio went kind of red, I was kind of happy that it did so because it kind of made me uncomfortable. And with the sports cards market kind of booming, I haven't felt uncomfortable in a while. At one point in time, I was always strategizing and reconfiguring my portfolio. And for the last few months, I just didn't have to do that. Everything was green, everything was up, and everything was good. But yeah, that's not so much the case anymore. While I'm still in profit with pretty much all my cards, I really wanted to go back and see, where I could fix some things at. Do I have too much of this card? Do I have too much of that set? Should I maybe hedge a little more in this regard and, kind of shake things up, get back to, what the High Upside Show used to be. I think one of the reasons a lot of you guys are here is because I wasn't just like the guy buy Kawhi, buy LeBron. I was trying to come at you guys with different plays. I was using my market cap method, something that I developed to really help find some undervalued cards. And I was sharing that with you guys. So yeah, I kind of sat back down and use that tool. And, I think I found some pretty good plays. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of good plays out there, especially with the dip. But I thought I would share, 3 with you guys today and just go over some different sets that I'm looking at. Based on the title of this episode, I'm like, is Prizm dying? And, it's kind of a clickbaity title. Obviously, Prizm isn't dying. It's definitely a great set. It's going to be, the set for a while. But in terms of ROI, you kind of have to ask yourself, is it dying? If you buy a Luka at 1,500, are you going to be satisfied with the 2X? I know that sounds crazy because the 2X is, a great profit margin, but I think there's some opportunities to, 3X or 4X or 5X. And that's what I want to share with you guys today. Now, before we get into it, you might be asking, what is the market cap method? Well, that's something I'm going to share with you guys next week. I have something coming out that I think a lot of you will enjoy. I think a lot of you will like. No, it's not like a big, website or platform. It's not Card Ladder. It's not Market Movers or anything of that nature, but it is a tool that I think will really help you guys kind of sit down and find some undervalued plays. I've been using it for a while and I've had great success with it. And yeah, I just kind of want to share with everybody. So if you're not signed up for the newsletter, then I highly recommend you do so. Going to be dropping it probably next week. And I just want to make sure you guys all can kind of look at that. The newsletter, the link to that is in the show notes, in the description. It's in my Instagram profile. It's pretty much everywhere. If you follow me, then you should be able to follow the newsletter as well. Also, you might want to jump into the Discord group. If you're part of the Discord group, there is going to be a discount for this tool that I'm offering. So definitely look into that. There's only 20 spots left in the Discord. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but it's only limited to 100 people, at least for now, until I can get some moderators or get some help there. So if you want to be part of that first 100, then I highly recommend you kind of jump in that as well. I'd say by the end of the month, it's probably going to be capped out. So want to make sure you guys have a chance to get there. So before we get directly into the plays, if you're listening to this on YouTube, I want you to comment down below, what sets you think I'm going to bring up. What do you think is undervalued? I'm always interested in knowing what you guys think. So let's take a second, comment that. If you're not on YouTube, when you pause it, go home, comment. I really want to know what sets are you guys looking at. Obviously Prizm's really good, Optics really good, Select's really good. But outside of the Chrome cards, is there anything else that's extremely attractive to you? I just want to kind of get some market sentiment here. Those 3 sets are my favorite as well. But after I've been doing some research, there's been some other plays that have been kind of growing on me. So yeah, hopefully you had enough time to comment. We'll just jump right into this. You guys know I like to get straight to the point. So yeah, for me, the first underrated set, and I know a lot of you guys probably didn't guess this because I was kind of talking down on Chrome cards, but believe it or not, it is from a Chrome product, and that's going to be Select Courtside. I know Select Courtside isn't like a secret. It's very well grained in the hobby. I mean, Luka sells for like $5,000, which is an insane amount of money. But at one point, he didn't. At one point, Luka's Select Courtside PSA 10 was actually cheaper than his Prizm PSA 10. I mean, I think the Courtside was like $55 and the Prizm was like 75. And though that's not the case today with Luka, I mean, that card has went on an insane tear. You can still find that within other players. There's some players where their courtside PSA 10 goes for cheaper than their Prizm. One that I came across the other day was Brandon Clark. I know there's a lot of people who like Brandon Clark, and his Prizm tends to go for like $100, $120 for the PSA 10 gem mint grade. Yet his courtside only sold for $86 PSA 10 in an auction. The courtside went $40 cheaper. I haven't looked at the pop report or anything of that, but I'm willing to bet that the courtside PSA 10 is far more rare than the Prizm. I'm willing to bet that the average Brandon Clark collector is probably going to want the courtside over the Prizm. There's so many Prizm cards. That's not to hate on Prizm or say the pop reports are going to kill the value, but there's no way that the courtside should be cheaper. And that's just one example. There's a ton of undervalued, players that are going for extremely cheap that, they're not getting searched. Some of the higher end players, obviously, when you search Trae Young, you search Trae Young. But when you search Brandon Clark, you're a little more specific. You search Brandon Clark Prizm. So a lot of people aren't even coming across these cards. They're not even knowing that they're listed, or they're just not seeing them. And another player that I saw that kind of shocked me was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. His PSA 10 courtside was going for around the same price as his Prizm. Now I know that, Shai Gilgeous' Prizm is like maybe like an SP or something. It's extremely rare, compared to other Prizm rookies, but still no reason why the courtside should be cheaper. And it's not just because if it's like low pop report, that I like this set. I mean, that plays a big part in it, but I think Select overall is just undervalued. It's the most expensive, set in the market, in terms of Chrome cards. Select is higher than Prizm. It's higher than Optic. And it's the only one of the three that kind of gives you, photographs of the players on the court. I made an Instagram post about this a little while back, and I think as we kind of get more into the space, as we get more educated, the actual photograph of the card is going to matter. I think we've recently seen that with Ja Morant's Chronicles Luminance. And, speaking of that card, I guess we can just get into the number 2 set. And I think that's Chronicles. That card had an amazing photograph. Chronicles gives you a lot of value. And I like to think about people who are getting into the market. If you're getting into the market, you're not going to want to drop like $500 on a Prizm or $1,000 on, a Prizm Silver. So I think these low value cards are going to be a big, turn on for people. I think that's what kind of happened with Hoops. And I think that's what happened with Donruss and why they kind of, doubled or tripled in prices, because they were like the only cards that people could afford. To me, Chronicles provides a fun product. It's kid friendly, or at least it was before, the shelves are empty. But yeah, it's kid friendly and it's a paper based set. We're kind of looking at more paper-based sets, at least we are, within the High Upside show, because they're a lot harder to grade. You're not going to see 10,000, Chronicle cards that are being graded. If you look at those Luminance cards, they're actually pretty rare. There's like less than 150, and that's for like the top players. And I think this year that set was really solidified as just a great set with, in terms of photography. So I think a lot of people will maybe go back and look at the 2018-19 set and kind of see like, hey, did Luka have a great picture? Did Trae have a great picture? I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity within Chronicles. When I invest, I tend to think about the liquidity, obviously. But one thing I'm thinking about is just people who collect. If you're investing for, long term, I think you have to have the collectors in mind. If this card has a pop report of 72, then that tells me that only 72 people can have it. That's going to be a rare card amongst the whoever collectors, the Brandon Clark collectors, and they'll probably pay a decent amount in order to have that card, because they really don't have a choice. I know that sounds kind of harsh, but that's kind of how you have to look at it as an investor. I think when Luka was kind of going on a tear, when his Prizms were hitting like the $700, $800 range, a lot of people were sleeping on the down risk, on the Chronicle cards, and if you look at those cards today, they've done really, really well. Those were like $30 cards, even kind of during the hype. So I think there's a big opportunity there. Obviously, they're a lot more expensive than they used to be. But if you can find a card that's rare, that has a great photograph, maybe a solid parallel, maybe even the serial number card, I think Chronicle is going to have some hidden gems. I think in the next, 5 or 10 years, if you're a long-term investor, you're going to be like, oh, there's only 32 of these cards. It really reminds me of like 2012-13 Panini or, Hoops. There's just not that many of them. And now we kind of see them hitting that $1,000 price point. I think I said this in that earlier episode where I was like, talking about the $1,000 rookie, how Prizm rookies or Optic rookies or, whatever popular set, how the rookies in those sets are going to be $1,000. Like that's going to be the base price. A lot of people called me crazy for that. And now we're starting to see it happen. So once that happens once Kobe White's like $1,000, you're going to want a cheaper card for him. And it's going to have to be like a Hoops or a Donruss and, a Chronicles. I think all three would do well. But in terms of ROI, I think the Chronicles is going to be the most overlooked one. Thus, it's probably going to make you the most money in the long term. Coming in at number 3 is another set that I've been looking at for a while. I used a market cap method to kind of figure out that this set was going to be a big deal. But for whatever reason, I thought that I would have more time to kind of tap into it. I've learned that that's a big, big mistake in this market. If you have an idea, if you found something, you just got to jump on it. You can't like wait or put it off to the side. I'm like really beating myself up that I kind of did this. And that set is actually going to be Donruss, Donruss base rookies. However, not just the regular base rookies here, but the press proof rookies, the press proof PSA 10 silvers, number to 349. I think those are insane cards. I already love the look of Donruss, like the rookies and especially 2018-19. They just look super, super clean. It's a great set to me because it's the only base set that has a chrome set. I think somehow that's going to play really well for it. And those press proof cards they were just so underrated. I'm telling you, I've been looking at press proof cards since I've got back into this market. And I'm like, oh, I'll wait. I remember I actually bought a Luka at one point and the seller ended up like he was saying he lost it or we had to cancel the transaction. And I was like, oh, whatever. I'll just get another one later. And now they're like $1,000 cards. And look, I'll tell you, at $1,000, I don't think they're a bad deal. I think we are sleeping on serial number cards. There's not that many of them, and being able to acquire some are becoming harder and harder. Trust me, I've been looking. They're just beautiful cards. They're serial number. And again, this isn't like a tomorrow thing. I think I put this on Instagram too. So many people, when they DM me, they're like, hey, how's it going, man? Looking for a long-term investment for 5 to 10 years. And then it's always like, oh, I just want to buy a Prizm or I just want to buy like this super safe card. Look, a Luka, if Luka is like what we think he's going to be, or Zion's what we think he's going to be, or Trae Young or Jason Tatum, whoever your guy is, Devin Booker, having a PSA 10 rookie card of him numbered to 349 with like a pop report of like 60 is going to be crazy. I just think the serial number makes it so much more rare. Look at Stephen Curry. His Topps Chrome card, number to 999. Like it has a super low pop report. It's higher than LeBron James's Topps Chrome. And I think it's going to be due to that rarity. I think it's going to put it over the top. No different than, maybe like a Kevin Durant or whatever. I think refractors that are numbered, Donruss cards that are numbered, just any card that's numbered needs to be taken seriously. And yeah, I just love this set. Obviously Luka's a little expensive, but I strongly believe if a Trae Young popped up or again, a Jason Tatum or somebody of that magnitude, that you'll be able to get it for a decent price point. The reason I was kind of beating myself up is because at one point, Luka kind of popped off, and I think his Donruss was selling like $400 or $500, and the press proof was going for the exact same price. And I swear I like stalked eBay for one. I'm like, this is insane. How are these two selling for the same price point? And that's not the case anymore. But again, I believe if it was a lesser player, then you'd be able to get it for a really, really good deal. So definitely be on the lookout for those. And yeah, guys, this is just 3 sets that I kind of rock with. I'm kind of looking into those. Again, I think there's a lot of opportunity in this market. I can't wait to share the market cap method with you so you can kind of do a lot of research and hack and find some different plays. Hopefully, if you find them, you're in the Discord group and you share them with me. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm really excited to check the comments to kind of see what you guys thought I was going to talk about. I think these plays are, again, long term. So if you're looking to make some money in 6 months, if you're looking to make some money in 2 months, maybe not the best place for you. But for me, I'm kind of transitioning into sports cards being assets. And, kind of using them as a hedge for the current, dollar or whatever. I know that sounds crazy, but that's kind of where I'm at. These are my savings accounts, and I'm just not looking to put everything that I own into Prizm, especially if it continues to be, extremely produced. And if there's 70,000 parallels, if you notice a lot of the sets I talked about today, they just didn't have that many parallels. Chronicles has a ton of cards, but there's just not like 37 parallels. Select Courtside, I think there's like 3 or 4. What is it? Silver, copper, rainbow, some shimmer. There's a little more now, but there's just not 27 of them. And with the Dominus Press Proof, I think you got like purple and gold and silver, and I think that's it. So I think that's going to kind of be the future of what we're looking at. And again, for you guys who love Prizm, I know there's a strong Prizm core out there. I'm not saying that Prizm can't make you any money or that it can't be a good investment. I'm just looking at things from an ROI perspective. I'm looking to get some cards that everybody doesn't have. So if Luka hits a buzzer beater, I'm not listing the 1,000 Prizm card on eBay. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode. As always, give me some feedback here with the audio. Still working on things. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Happy investing.